UK, where I'm joined by Lawrence Young. He's a professor of molecular oncology at Warwick University. Professor, first off, do you know anything about this inhaled vaccine? Do you think it will be effective?
There's a number of trials going on actually around the world looking at this idea of generating a nasal immunity, an immunity in your nose and throat that will protect you from infection and from the severe consequences of infection. Some of those trials are proving quite interesting and exciting. I don't know anything particular about the vaccine in China, but nasal vaccines we know can be very effective against other respiratory infections.
Yeah, it sounds really intriguing for sure, especially someone like me who's afraid of needles. Going back to China's zero COVID strategy, it is determined to persist with this strategy even after 3 years. They're still dealing with the outbreaks and locking down major cities. How can the country get out of this cycle of locking down and opening back up again?
Yeah, we know from looking around the world that whilst partial lockdowns in other parts of the world did have some effect in controlling COVID, these very extreme approaches have severe consequences, both economic and social. And you have to balance that against your ability to vaccinate your population, to encourage people to test more regularly, for people who are infected to isolate, and then to continue to test until they're virus free. And I think the general consensus now, looking over the world over more than 2 years of COVID, is that a zero COVID strategy is extremely difficult as a mechanism for controlling COVID.
Yeah, and it seems like China is refusing to admit that. I'm also wondering, though, because of these lockdowns, very few people in China have actually been exposed to the virus. Do you think that once they open up, because of that, there's just going to be another big outbreak and then they'll just have to lock down again?
Yeah, I think that's a really valid point, alongside the fact that the degree to which the population is protected from vaccination, and dare I say, the degree to which the vaccines that have been used in China are effective, is another issue. If you fully vaccinate and boost your population with an effective vaccine alongside these other control measures, masking in crowded spaces, increasing ventilation and air filtration in spaces as well, that's a real way to tackle this virus, alongside surveillance, looking at what type of variants are coming into your country. I think zero COVID policies is a very difficult way of attempting to manage the pandemic.
All right, we're going to leave it there for now. Professor Lawrence Young joining us from Coventry in the UK. Thank you.